Hi there, YouTube. Straw Hat Izzy here, aka Daisy Cruz, if you follow me over on Twitch. And today I'm bringing you guys my first place Jesmon GX deck that I got first place in Mario Gaming World Circuit Series on Wednesday. Mario's a great guy, great content creator, good friend of mine, and I'm glad I could finally win one of his tournaments and not just top it. So it was cool. I decided to play Jesmon. And if you guys have watched the previous Jesmon deck profile, this one is going to be completely different, almost, not entirely, but like there's a lot of cards and choices I made after testing that one for the past month that I thought would just be better now, especially seeing how people are playing into the format, just based on the months of testing that I've done so far. So anyway, if you like the video, please give me a comment. Let me know what I could be doing better. Let me know what you need help with. I can try to do that for you. Join the Royal Knights Discord. We do coaching. Games always, tournaments. We have a tournament every Saturday for cool mats like this one. This one isn't mine, but like it is a cool mat. So yeah, so let me go ahead and get on to the deck profile. And starting with the eggs, it's just 4 copies of Digimon. This should be standard at this point. You don't need more eggs. You'll never go to a 5th. So just move that out of the way. Rookies. Still the best searcher in the game. And guys, it's going to be a longer deck profile. I know you guys are used to my longer deck profiles because I like to explain cards. But a lot of people need help playing the deck. I've gotten a lot of messages recently like, hey, I'm having troubles bricking, or like maybe I'm doing something wrong. Okay, first step, this card should always be played in the front. You should never digivolve this card in the back unless you have a full line in your hand. Not 2 of the 4 pieces. You need all 4. You need Huckmon all the way to a Jesmon. If you don't have those pieces, do not evolve this in the back. Okay? Or if you don't have another searcher, the 2-drop searcher, please don't evolve this in the back. If you have another rookie, a first turn really good play could be like evolve to rookie and then play Huckmon and then search 2 cards. This card is way too good of a searcher for us to be wasting it in the raising area. So please, 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 that's something that can help your game tremendously, okay? So for that Huckmon, next we play 3 of this Huckmon. The reason we're playing 3 is because you only really want to resolve it once, maybe twice, to get the Sistermons out of the deck, and then from there you don't ever want to resolve it again. The reason being is because then it bottom decks too many cards, and a lot of the times you need other pieces that aren't Sistermon cards. So yeah, only 3 of it. I even thought about cutting it down to 2 so I can make another spot for the next card, but I think 3 is fine. I think it's a good happy medium for me. Next I played 1 copy of this Huckmon. This Huckmon's important because sometimes you want to be able to swing your 6k Bowhuck, and then this gives Bowhuck an extra 1,000, so now it's 7k. It makes your opponent's Sunrise Buster math really weird. So if they have a Tamer, only 1 Tamer, and then they Sunrise Buster, play another Tamer, if they don't realize that you have this Huckmon underneath, it actually doesn't kill your Bowhuck. And then they've wasted a Sunrise Buster, potentially. Unless it's Angie plus, Darulu combo, in which case, it is what it is. It also has a really good on-play effect. I think I resolved it once in the tournament, where I just had this on field, and then I played a sister, and then I gained a memory from playing a sister, and then the sister gave me another memory, and then so on and so forth. So I think it's a good one of it. It was good. I'll test it some more for you guys, but I think if you don't play one of this, you play an additional of the next card I'm going to show you, and that is Sistermon. Sistermon is so ridiculously powerful, so needed in this deck. Your deck does have a hard time against Death Xmon, so being able to have a way to stop the card that stops you is really good. So like I said, if you don't want to play this card, you can play a 4th one of this, and I think it would be just as warranted. It's really good into the cross-art matchup. Like, this is, when you play that matchup, you want to do Sistermon protection. Like, you just want to protect Sistermon at all costs. It doesn't matter what you have to do. If you have to decoy your Blunt for it, do it. If you have to boost up your Solar so you can't get Darulu, do it. Whatever you can do in the cross-art matchup to protect Sistermon, you do, because it slows them down enough that you just win the game. So that's it for all the rookies. It's 12 rookies, guys. From there, pretty standard at this point. I don't think I've seen anybody differentiate from this lineup. 4 of each Bowhuckmon. It's just, they're searchable. You want every card in your deck to be searchable or search a card, basically. And I can show you guys at the end, there's only 6 cards in my deck that cannot be searched or do not search a card. So there's 44 out of 50 that you should be okay to search pieces. So there's that. Yeah, this Bowhuck's obviously the best one. Like, you always want this one in the stack because this kills blockers, it kills like Solarmons, it kills memory boost blockers. There's a lot of things that can just beat, and then this giving plus 1k, again, can mess up your opponent's math for their Sunrise Busters, so that matters a lot. Like, both of these cards are phenomenal. From there, we played 4 copies of New Savior and 1 copy of Old Savior. In the finals match, I won game 2 with this Savior, but Mario was like, I can't believe you opened the 1 of. This card is worse than this card, guys. It is only really good if you can go into Blitz Jesmon the same turn, swing, and unsuspend. Like, beside that, it just does not as much as this one would do. This one's really good because it gives you Judgment of the Blade effect, for those who don't know, and then plays a Sistermon from your hand or trash. So this card in combination with other cards in the deck is actually phenomenal. And then, like, this Savior is okay. I keep telling people if this Savior was at 4, I'd still probably only play like 2 or 3 of this, because I don't think you would change the Jesmon lineup for your Megas. Like, I don't think you would ever get rid of Blitz Jesmon. It just gives you so much advantage that the old Jesmon couldn't give you, because the old Jesmon had to wait a turn in the raising to be able to swing. And this Jesmon just has Blitz, and the Blitz changes almost everything for you. So only these 5. I don't play Chimeramon. It's something me and some of my teammates talked about. Mainly Tayfrey. He gave me some inspiration on some of these cards in the deck that I'll show you later. But we talked about it, whether we thought Chimeramon was good, and it was more of like a Blitz Omni in a way. Like, it wasn't searchable. It was cool, but like the way you win the game isn't like OTK basically. You basically control the board. You put your opponent in pinch positions is how you would win the game. So Chimeramon was kind of just like a win more card, and I wanted to avoid as many win more cards as possible. So just these 5. You search them enough. Yeah, it can be a little hard getting to an ultimate sometimes, but it's worth it. You have way too many search cards to not get to one. From there, let's talk about our Megas. 3 copies of Blitz Jesmon. This is the best Mega in the deck. It's not close. Like, all of your plays are done through this card. And I have made a couple changes since the tournament. I'll show you guys what those changes were and what they were previously in the tournament. But this Jesmon is so good. Like, Blitz, Sec +1, +3000, play a guy, not once per turn. So if you have the other Savior, you just get to do that. Is crazy. Like, the goal of the deck is to do one big power push, make it so that your opponent has to break your board or they lose. So it's basically a Yu-Gi-Oh deck, which is really cool. But yeah, only 3 of it. I don't think you need 4, unless you choose not to play one of the other cards in my deck. And yeah, I think this card's just really strong. From there, I played 3 copies of Jesmon X Antibody. This card's really, really good. So it's an alternative Mega to this Jesmon, but you can also treat this card as a level 7, because it almost always evolves over this Jesmon. Like, very rarely am I evolving to this. I'm always evolving to this, blitzing, and then using the new CL to evolve to this, so that I can do those combos. Very strong card. Plus 2000 is crazy until the end of the opponent's turn. And all of your Digimon can attack over an opponent's Digimon. Doesn't really come up for anything else but himself, but it can, depending on the thing. Depending on the situation. I just think the plus 2000 is crazy until the end of the opponent's. Makes your Solarmon 5k so it doesn't lose to a Darulu. Then all you need to do is play around Crimson Blaze. So if you have the decoy one, plus that, plus this card, the decoy Blanc plus Solar plus this card, they have so little outs to that. And speaking of not giving my opponents outs, I played 2 copies of Genkamon X Antibody. In the tournament, I played 1. I played 1. This was a Crimson Blaze. Crimson Blaze didn't do anything for me, and I never played a mirror. And even then, I knew how to beat the mirror, so it was pretty simple. So now I've cut this for a second one of these, because this inherently against some decks is just really, really good. Like, Melga will have a hard time against this card. So you can actually just Digivolve it, make it your first Mega if you can't get to the Blitz Jesmon, and then stall until you make a second stack. And when Digivolving, you play Sister, and then none of them can be bounced, none of them can be depleted. So a cool thing I did was I Digivolved this against Crossheart. And then it played a Sistermon. I put them to 1. They couldn't beat it because it was like a 14k blocker. Then I swung, used Savior's effect to play another Sistermon, the reboot one, and then I played a Solarmon, and I went, okay, go ahead. So then my blocker rebooted, because of the 1 CL, this is a 14k blocker, and then it's just a blocker that plays a guy every single turn when you swing, and then reboots. So even if they kill the reboot one, if they don't Crimson Blaze you, you just bring back the reboot one. And even if they do Crimson Blaze you, it gives you a defensive play. Like, it's really hard for Crossheart to beat this card, really hard for Melga, and really hard for Imperial. The only decks that really get around it are Grandis, so that's a hard one, and then Alpha, and those are bad matchups in general. You kind of just have to like wait for them to do their thing, and then you retaliate against them. You don't really want to put pressure into them. So yeah, but this card is really good in those matchups. It makes Melga like free. It puts pressure on Blue Flare. People say Blue Flare is like really good against this deck. I don't see it. Like, they stun once, and then they have to use a whole nother cross to stun again. And if you have Sistermon, they don't play an out in their deck unless they're playing Forbidden Trident, and that's just not good. So, or it's good, but like it's not good enough is what I'm trying to say. Because then you can just replay the Rookie the following turn. Like, they don't do enough damage output to deal with the wide boards that you're playing, and all they can do is stun because they don't play any real removal. So, and then in that amount of time, you're also just, going in the back and building a whole new stack. So, play 2 Genku X. I think this card's really good, even as a standalone Mega, even if you don't use it for what the next card is going to be, and which is not a surprise, Jesmon GX. So, GX was really good. I played one of it in the tournament. I'm still playing one of it. I only own one of it, so maybe I'd play 2, but I don't think I have the space. So, like, 1 is good. It's searchable enough, right? This card against all the aforementioned like blue decks, like Imperial, against Melga, it is an auto win. They cannot beat this plus this. This combination where you're doing like 4 checks and then all of your cards can't be bounced. All of them like basically have blocker, and then if you have the reboot, this is a 20k usually blocker. This is unoutable for that deck. So you have a win condition, which is great. And I think Jesmon has a win condition against every single deck. I think its hardest matchup for sure is Alphamon or Grandis, because Grandis can just keep suspending the blockers. So there's that. 1 GX, it's super strong. Like, I got to resolve it so many times. Mario got really upset. He's like, how does he keep getting to GX so easy? He plays one of it. And it's because there's a lot of search power and, draw power. And it's not the old Jesmon that we know of, where you brick in BT6 and then you just lose. So that's it. That's all the Jesmon cards, Royal Knight cards. Now for Sistermon cards. 3 CL, you should play 3 of this. This card's phenomenal. Like, this is the one you want to see in your hand or trash, because this leads to so many other plays. Like, you get to... This card allows you to play, like, 4 Sistermons in a turn. 3 Sistermons, I think, minimum. If you have Blitz Jesmon plus Savior plus Jesmon X. Yeah, you play 3 Sisters. And they usually have blocker. So, like, a 5k blocker, 7k blocker, 7k blocker is insane against most decks. And then you've already done 2 damage, so you have 4 bodies on board, and then they only have 3 security. So if they don't deal with your board in some capacity, they lose. And if they don't deal with your Jesmon especially, they also lose. So, yeah, really good. From there, 2 copies of the old CL. Gaining memory is really good. The plus 2000 DP is also really relevant, like I said, for Genku. Like, this plus this is really good. And Melga struggles against stuff like this because Melga has to bounce the lowest level, usually, or a level 4 or lower. So your usual plays are like this, and then blocker blanc. So they have to first bounce blocker blanc. Then they have to bounce this. And then they still have to get through the blocker. And then the following turn, you just swing and you put both of those cards back out because they're going to your hand. So very good against Melga, like ridiculously good. But yeah, like plus 2000 was really relevant because then it gives your Jesmon, your Genku, your Jesmon X, and even your Huckmons. Like Jesmon X plus a Huckmon plus a CL makes it 6000, so then you get Guri off of a Rookie, which is really strong. Last of the CLs I play is the Reboot one. You only play 1. It's not like very good, but it is needed if you play GX. So if you play GX, and because I'm playing Genku, you have to play at least 1 copy of this. Because you want your GX to be doing a bunch of damage, and then you want it to reboot so that it can retain the big blocker status. That's really hard out, because it can't be bounced, can't be depleted. You can only delete it, and if you have the Blanc that has Decoy, then you can't do anything against it. Alpha can kind of get away with it, because they can Dex Story Grade the Decoy one, and then they can, or you can this card, and then that's how they clear that. And potentially OTK you. So like I said, that's a hard matchup. Grandis can ignore it. So like I said, it's also a hard matchup. But going back to Sistermon CL, reboot, and then it looks at the top 3 cards of your deck on play, and then adds 1 Huckmon or Royal Knight to your hand, and then trashes the rest. Yeah, I wanted to make sure it wasn't Sisters either, sorry. Trashes the rest, which is really good. A lot of the cards in the deck trash instead of putting to the bottom deck, so you have some access to your pieces in some way. Like, one of the big issues previously in Jesmon, like BT6, was red memory boost with bottom deck 2 mana of your Sistermons, and then you never see them again. Now, if you play like the 2-cost option, you can trash the Sisters, take the pieces you need, use the old Huckmon to search 2 cards. You don't have to take a Sister, and then use the inheritable Huckmon to search your Sisters. So like you just have a better way to search those cards. Then from there, I played 3 of this Blanc and 1 of this Blanc. If Alphamon becomes popular, I'll put this to a 2-2 split, because you need 2 of these to beat Oryukin. You need 2 of these plus Jesmon GX to beat Oryukin. But if it doesn't stay popular, this is the correct ratio. I think the blocker one's really good. Giving blocker always is really strong. And then this just plays around Crimson Blaze. And like sometimes Death X, but if you have Solarmon on board, you don't worry about Death X. You want to take away as many pieces from them, or as many outs as possible. So if you have this plus Solar and under Genku, I don't know how you're outing that. Like I really don't, because they can't be depleted, they can't be bounced, the Solarmon can't be destroyed, and it's just a lot of pressure. So that's it for Sistermon ratio. 10 of them. I think it's a good number. Then last Digimon in the deck, Death X. I mean, this card's broken. In the mirror, if they don't have Solarmon, you kind of just destroy their board. But you got to be careful. If they're all the way up into a line, like if they're into a Jesmon X, and then they have 3 Sisters, Death Xing might not be good, because then they go back to the Jesmon, and that Jesmon can swing and play 2 Sisters again. So like, you basically got nothing for your play. But beside that, really good into Crossheart, really good into decks that go wide. Like Minerva doesn't like this card specifically unless they have Psych. Yeah. So I think it's really strong. Really good in the mirror too. Like if they just don't expect you to have it, it's just a blowout. 3 copies from Master Disciple. I don't think you need a 4th. I played with 4. I thought it was too much. Cool thing, you can take this card off of this card for those who didn't know that. It just adds any card with Huckmon, Royal Knight, or Sistermon in its traits. In name, or like, Royal Knight in its traits is the difference. And this card is Royal Knight in its traits. The cool part about this card is that it has a security effect. It does literally what it does on its main effect, which is so cool. So like a better memory boost that plays around the memory choking mechanic, which you were already weak against, that doesn't bottom deck your cards, costs less, and then trashes them instead. It's just so powerful for this deck. It's just so good, guys. I can't tell you how strong it is. It lets you do full-on Jesmon plays from a champion, and then if they put you to 2 memory, you can just go Savior and then into the Jesmon and Blitz, and the Blitz just helps out so much. So really strong card, very powerful. I played 1 copy of Red Memory Boost because it helps with the Jesmon GX plays. You don't really want to pass too much memory doing that play, so this card is good. It also can pinch your opponent. They're like, oh, he has, I'm going to put him to 1. Okay, well, I'm going to delay, go to 3, go to Savior. And as long as I get the Savior, I Blitz, and then I crack your board. So, and the last 2 cards in my deck and were 2 copies of Gaia Force. So, like I aforementioned, Alphamon and Grandis are really hard. I think you can 50-50 Alpha if you just don't go into GX early and you play around with your memory, like, well. Grandis is really hard to beat sometimes. Like, you have to wait for them to promote, hope they don't kill you, and then, stuff like that. So, I decided to play 2 Gaia Force, hope they hit in security. That was one of the goals. But this has a really good niche in the mirror. So, a thing you can do, if they promote first, you can crack all of their Sistermons, because you're going to attack into their Jesmon, they're going to block, Balhuck's going to kill 1, and like potentially leave them 1 sister. That's fine. Then from there, you have 3 sisters, 2 sisters, X amount. They have 1 sister and their body, and like I said, unless they have the decoy one, which you're going to pop with the Balhuck anyway, then you can Gaia Force them. You don't really care if you're giving them a lot of memory, because if they're promoting first, they don't have a stack in the back. So this allows you to beat the mirror really easy. And in total combination, I think I have 4 cards that beat the mirror unconstructively. And this is just a really good card. Like, if you see Insecurity, it's good against Cross 4, it's good against Melga. Not great against Black or Gray, but like you don't need it for that matchup because you just beat over them. Good against Grandis, not good against Alpha. Good against the blue flare deck, yeah, like Gaia Force is actually really good right now. So I thought 2 of it was fine. I drew it a couple times, like in doubles, but I never opened with doubles. I just like drew into it. And there were even some times where I was just like, all right, I'll Gaia Force here, and it's really good. And then there was one time against an Imperial player, he first checked Gaia Force. I was like, okay, cool. So yeah, like it was really strong. I would suggest probably playing 2. I think you need some type of defensive option in this deck, just for the matchups that you can't deal with. And because I was playing this defensive option, I think I had an answer to literally everything in my deck, except maybe Alpha. And even then, Death X, if they don't use the Oryukin correctly, like if they go down to their egg when doing their thing, you can Death X their board if they have enough Tamers, and then you can go ahead and kill their guy. So I had a pseudo out to Alpha. It wasn't strong, but it wasn't out. And as far as my rounds go, I played Crossheart round 1. It was one of my students. He was learning the deck, and then afterward, you know, I went over it with him. He got 6th, which is cool. First time for him playing the deck, but still won. Round 2 was Black War Gray. A lot of people are on Black War Gray thinking it's really good to Crossheart, and in theory it is, right? But in execution, you are so bad into so many other decks that I don't think it's worth playing a niche deck that's good into 1. When the format is this wide open. I see everybody playing Black War Gray, and this deck just eats through Black War Gray because of the judgment effect. You just swing over them, you wait for them to promote, and then you do that. So yeah, I lost game 1 to him because I hit Dark Gaia Force, and then I hit Sword Defeat, and then he went Sword Defeat into Omnimon X to kill my last guy, and I was like, okay, man, you got it. And then we won game 2 and 3, so that was cool. Round 3, I played against Blue Hybrid, which was interesting. He was playing Blue Magna Garuru, and he was undefeated too, so I was like, all right, what's going on? He kind of bricked some games, and then, I don't know, I kind of just rolled away with it. I was like, all right, I'll play a bunch of guys. You don't have Sword and Joe right now, so. And then he made a board with like an Ancient Garuru. I killed the Ancient Garuru. He brought out a guy plus a Koji, and then I Death X'd his board for free, basically. I think it was for 2, but it was basically free. From there, I played against Imperial. Which was fine. We won that 2-0. And then my finals match was Crossheart. I've lost to Crossheart in the finals once before, and I lost to Grandis in the finals, not with this deck, with Alpha, back-to-back weeks. So just to be able to 2-0 Crossheart, because of the changes and things like that, was really helpful. The Gankumon X, the 1-of, carried that whole matchup. Like, the game 1, he just couldn't break a Gankumon, so then I was able to make a second stack and then go from there and just, you know, kill him. But yeah, guys, that's the deck. Any questions, please feel free to ask in the comments. I'll answer them to the best of my ability. If you want to join the Discord, go ahead. There should be a link somewhere. I'll put a link somewhere. And thank you guys for all the support. Oh, cool thing. Sorry. Last cool thing that I did. Chat was going crazy because I did a full-on Jesmon combo, like Jesmon GX. And then the guy's camera just stopped. So they were like, he pierced through the camera, he broke the camera, and it was funny, it was cool. Shout out to that guy, he was a really good sport about it. And he definitely was not like cheating or anything like that, it really just was a technical issue. So, beside that, thank you guys, appreciate you joining me today, and have a great rest of your day, okay?